Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. Today, we're going to continue our discussion about the framework and approaches in values education. So now, we have done in the framework of values education. Now, let's proceed to the approaches of values education. So first approach is trait approach. So what is trait approach? What is Allport trait theory? What is Cattell's cultural-based system theory? What is Eysenck biological theory? And what is the Big Five theory of personality? Trait approach focuses on identifying and fostering specific character traits or virtues such as honesty, integrity, and empathy. For example, in a trait-based values education program, the students may be encouraged to develop virtues like responsibility by participating in a community service project. The trait theory in psychology rests on the idea that people differ from one another based on the strength and intensity of basic trait dimensions. In American Psychological Association or APA, trait is defined as an enduring personality characteristics that describe or determines an individual's behavior across a range of situations. Gordon Allport studied human personality by locating every term that he thought could describe person in the dictionary to identify a list of 4,541 traits. He organized them into three categories. First is the cardinal traits, second is the central traits, and third one is the secondary trait. The cardinal traits are the traits that dominates and shapes a person's behavior. These are rare as most people lack a single them that shapes their lives. The following are some examples of cardinal traits of some known people. Central traits are the general characteristic found in some degree in every person. These are the basic building blocks that shape most of our behavior, although they are not as overwhelming as cardinal traits. An example of central trait would be honesty. Allport suggested that most people have about 5 to 10 central traits. Next, we have secondary traits. Secondary traits tend to present themselves in a certain situations. For example, if you might normally be a pretty easygoing person, but you might become short-tempered when under a lot of pressure. Or a normally calm person might become very anxious when faced with speaking in public. From the 4,500 traits of Allport, it was reduced into 16 PF or 16 personal factor by Cattell. Raymond Bernard Cattell was born in 1905 and died in 1998 as an British American psychologist known for his psychometric research into intrapersonal psychological structure. He was educated in Britain and was awarded PhD in 1929 from the University of London. Raymond Cattell made many contributions to psychology, but is most renowned for his theory of personality and discovery of 16 underlying traits. Cattell's theory of personality describes 16 personality traits that each person possesses to varying degrees. They are: first, warm; second, reasoning; 3. Emotional stability; 4. Dominance; 5. Liveliness; 6. Role consciousness; 7. Social boldness; 8. Sensitivity; 9. Vigilance; 10. Abstractness; 11. Privateness; 12. Apprehension; 13. Openness to change; 14. Self-reliance; 15. Perfectionism; 16. Tension. It was in 1940s that Cattell and his colleagues developed the 16 Personality Factor Questionnaire, or commonly known as the 16PF, which was devised to measure source traits using self-report data. While Hans Eysenck defined personality as the enduring organization of a person's character, temperament, intelligence, and physique, which determines the individual's unique adjustment to the environment. This would be the model of Eysenck cultural theory. So extraversion, high, means sociable, sensation-seeking, low, unsociable, cautious. For neuroticism, high means tense, anxious, and irrational. Low means calm and relaxed. Psychoticism, high means aggressive, selfish, lacking in feeling, and low means non-aggressive, warm, aware of others. And the next theory is the Big Five personality theory. It can be used in acronym like OCEAN. O means openness to experience, C conscientiousness, E extraversion, A agreeableness, and N neuroticism. The method, practices, and strategies used in trait approach are modeling, positive and negative reinforcement, role-playing, games and simulations, biography, and journal writing. The purpose of trait approach is for the students to develop their character, to have ethical decision making, to have social responsibility, and also cultural sensitivity and towards leadership development. And the second approach, the values education, after trait approach is the values clarification. So, what is values clarification? Values clarification emphasizes self-awareness and reflection to help individuals identify their own values and make informed decisions aligned with those values. For example, in a values clarification activity, students might engage in role-playing scenarios to explore conflicting values and understand the consequences of their choices. The methods, practices, and strategies used in values clarification are role-playing, games and simulations, contrived or real value-laden situations, introspection or in-depth self-analysis exercise, sensitivity activities, set of class activities, and small group discussion. The purpose of values clarification is for the students to become aware of and identify their own values and those of others, and also to communicate openly and honestly with others about their values, and to use both rational thinking and emotional awareness to examine their personal feelings, values, and behavior patterns. Okay, the next approach to values clarification is the cognitive developmental approach. So, what is cognitive developmental approach, and what are those stages or the 6 stages of development of the moral development by Kohlberg? The cognitive developmental approach is focused on promoting moral reasoning and understanding of ethical principles through cognitive growth and development. For example, using Kohlberg stages of moral development, educators can design curriculum and discussion to help students progress from a focus on self-interest to principled moral reasoning. The methods, practices, and strategies used in cognitive developmental approach are debate, role-playing, small group discussion, and open-ended questions. The purpose of cognitive developmental approach is for the students to improve reasoning and facilitate movement towards moral autonomy rather than to differentiate between right and wrong. Lastly, fourth approach of values education is moral dilemma. So what is moral dilemma? In moral dilemma, it presents students with challenging ethical situations where they must weigh conflicting values and make difficult decisions. For example, in moral dilemma exercise, students might debate the ethical implications of a hypothetical scenario involving issues like honesty versus loyalty. Moral dilemma can be solved from the following steps. First, recognize that there is an ethical question. Then, understand that the facts of the situation, followed by understanding the options available, then understand the consequences of the options, then test the options you plan to take. After that, explain the option you have decided on, then act on the chosen option, then after that, reflect on the outcome. The methods, practices, and strategies used in moral dilemma is debate, open-ended questions, role-playing, moral dilemma episodes with small group discussion. The purpose of moral dilemma is to allow students to think critically and use both rational and emotional awareness to examine their personal feelings, values, and behavior patterns. Okay, now we're going to have a role play. I will divide the class into 4 groups, and each group will have different tasks to perform. You will be given 15 minutes to prepare and then present your role play in class. So this will be our criteria or our rubric in grading your performance. Characterization 50%, delivery 30%, audience impact 20% with a total of 100%. Okay, that's all for my part, and the next reporter will discuss about the other approaches and values education. May I call on Miss Tumarlas?